what if the secret to selling $1 million enterprise contract has absolutely nothing to do with saving the client money?
Right, which goes against literally everything you get taught in traditional business schools.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you actually look at the raw data of how these massive deals close behind closed doors, pitching company-wide efficiency is, well, it's often the absolute worst way to win a contract.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We are jumping into this incredibly rich stack of source material today, and we have our hands on these raw, unfiltered pitch transcripts.
And the strategy breakdowns, too, which are just gold.
Yeah, from about 9 or 10 different founders. And these aren't people just tossing around, theoretical ideas. These are operators running real-world businesses, generating anywhere from $1 million to over $100 million in revenue.
And our mission for this deep dive is to basically extract the signal from all that noise.
Right.
We want to isolate the repeatable blueprints, the gritty growth tactics, and the exact real-world numbers these founders are using right now to scale and monetize.
So, if you are building a product or trying to scale a service or, just trying to figure out how to navigate complex sales environments, you really need to listen closely.
Because these aren't your standard MBA case studies.
No, not at all. We're going to break down these boots-on-the-ground tactics for bypassing corporate gatekeepers, hacking supply chains, and solving massive labor bottlenecks.
Stuff you can apply to literally whatever project or business you're currently building, right?
Okay, let's unpack this. We need to start at the very beginning of the business life cycle, which is making that initial sale.
Because if you can't get your product to a paying customer, nothing else matters.
Exactly. Your brilliant product is useless. So I want to introduce you to Kevin. Kevin was pulling down this traditional corporate salary in the Bay Area tech scene.
Pretty comfortable life, I imagine.
Yeah, comfortable, but he felt totally disconnected from his work. He wanted a business where his direct effort equaled cash in the bank. So he pivots entirely and buys a franchise called Smash My Trash.
Which is such a great name, by the way. It tells you exactly what the business does right on the tin.
It really does. So he puts up $185,000 in upfront capital, which he backed with a $350,000 SBA loan, and he gets into the industrial waste management game.
And the underlying mechanics here are actually brilliant, if you think about it.
Oh, completely. Think about a massive agricultural plant or like a sprawling warehouse. They have these giant open-top dumpsters just sitting in the parking lot.
Right, taking up space.
And these facilities might spend 10 grand a month on waste removal because they have to pay a hauling company every single time a truck comes out.
And half the time, they're essentially just paying to haul air, right? Because the trash is loosely piled.
Yeah, it's highly inefficient. So Kevin's franchise operates this mobile truck equipped with a massive hydraulic crane and like a heavy spinning spike.
Sounds intense.
It is. He literally drives up to the client's dumpster, lowers the spike, and physically smashes the trash down, compacting it so densely that it cuts their required pickups in half.
Wow.
And then Kevin just splits the financial savings with the client. So it's this massive, immediate ROI for the warehouse.
But having a mathematically perfect offer doesn't actually guarantee a single dollar of revenue,
Right.
Not if you can't get that offer in front of the person who actually signs the checks.
And that is where Kevin's true brilliance comes in. Because the standard sales playbook tells you to cold call the front office.
And the receptionist is literally paid to be a defensive shield against salespeople.
Exactly. So Kevin just threw out the playbook. He didn't even knock on the front door. He put on a red construction hard hat, grabbed a clipboard, and walked right around the building to the back-loading docks.
He just physically bypassed the corporate defense system entirely.
Yeah, he wandered in looking like he belonged there. It's a literal Trojan horse strategy for sales.
That is so smart.
He would walk straight up to the dock workers hauling pallets, and he'd just start asking questions. Like, hey, how often does this thing get full? What's the biggest pain point?
Gathering all that insider intel directly from the ground floor?
Right, and he'd ask, who in the front office actually manages the waste budget?
Oh, that's the golden question.
Exactly. Then, armed with all that, he walks to the front office and pitches the actual decision maker. It worked so well that he bought the business in 2022, scaled it, and recently sold it for $1.8 million.
Unbelievable.
But wait, I have to push back a little here. Sure, sneaking into a loading dock with a clipboard makes sense for a local trash-smashing franchise, but you can't exactly wear a hard hat into a corporate boardroom.
Right, yeah.
Does this kind of bypassing the standard process actually work for high-level enterprise deals? Like if someone listening is selling B2B software.
It absolutely scales, but the hard hat becomes psychological rather than physical.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, this is perfectly illustrated by another founder in our transcripts, Jonathan. He founded Overlap, which builds AI video clipping agents.
Oh, right. They do the automated editing and distribution for massive media companies.
Exactly. And his numbers are insane. He's landing six-figure enterprise contracts with major networks.
Yeah, driving billions of organic impressions.
Right. And his non-obvious enterprise sales lesson is that proving return on investment, the classic ROI pitch, does not sell enterprise software.
Which just seems totally counterintuitive. I mean, every startup pitches by claiming they'll save thousands of man-hours or cut operational costs.
And that is exactly why so many startups get stuck in procurement purgatory. If we connect this to the bigger picture, you really have to dissect the psychology of the buyer.
Okay.
When you're selling a six-figure contract to a VP at a massive media company, that VP isn't primarily motivated by the company's overall bottom line.
Right. The profit margin is just kind of an abstraction to them.
Yes, exactly. What that VP actually cares about is personal survival.
Like keeping their job.
Keeping their job, securing their bonus, getting promoted to senior VP.
So they're acting in their own rational self-interest, not the interest of the whole conglomerate.
Spot on. So the winning tactic isn't mapping your software to the company's savings. It's mapping it directly to the specific metrics that the VP is evaluated on by their boss.
Oh, I see.
Jonathan realized media execs are judged on impressions, reach, and proving they dominate the internet.
So how did he actually build that into his sales motion?
He literally designed a custom dashboard in his software that functioned purely as a promotion engine.
Wow.
It generated this highly polished one-click PDF report designed to be emailed straight to the VP's boss, highlighting the exact metrics the VP needed to hit to look like a genius.
So he was basically selling cover my ass and get me promoted software disguised as ROI.
Exactly. You find the path of least resistance by aligning your product with their personal ambitions.
That is such a crucial shift for anyone listening. Whether you're selling trash compaction or AI, you have to uncover what the buyer actually desires.
Right, which is rarely what the official corporate mandate says.
So once you've figured out how to sell and bypass those gatekeepers, how do you actually manufacture and fulfill the product? Especially if you don't have like millions in venture capital.
Oh, building physical hardware is brutal. The margins are thin, lead times are long.
It's a massive barrier to entry. But I want to introduce you to Noom. He's this 24-year-old founder who just bypassed the traditional model entirely.
The TMJ pen guy, right?
Yes. He saw millions of people suffering from TMJ, chronic jaw pain, but there were no heated, targeted massagers for the jaw on the market.
No, he just built one.
Right, using free YouTube tutorials and basic CAD software. And the real numbers here are staggering. He started the company with less than $3,000.
And what's he doing now?
He is doing $430,000 a month in revenue.
Wait, that's a $5 million annual run rate?
Yeah, at 20% net margins. Completely bootstrapped.
That kind of capital efficiency in hardware is just incredibly rare. How did he get the initial demand without blowing cash on Facebook ads?
He used this rage bait marketing tactic. He filmed a video on an airplane where a friend pretended to be a Karen screaming at him for vaping.
But he wasn't vaping.
Right, he acts all flustered in the video like, no, it's a medical device I invented for jaw pain.
Oh my God, that is a masterclass in behavioral psychology.
The algorithm ate it up. People got furious at the fake aggressive passenger and flooded the comments to defend Noom, asking where to buy his invention.
How many views did that get?
100 million views.
Wow. But see, that creates a whole new problem. If you go viral and suddenly have 10,000 open orders, your supply chain just instantly collapses.
Right, you're just one guy in an apartment. The standard playbook is to panic, raise a massive seed round, and rent a commercial factory space.
Which takes 6 months to set up. And by then, the virality is dead. But what's fascinating here is how he solved the hardware fulfillment bottleneck.
Exactly. He didn't raise a dime. He took his 3D printers out of his bedroom closet and approached his 3PL.
And just for context, a 3PL is a third-party logistics warehouse. They just store and ship your finished products. They don't manufacture anything.
Right. Highly regimented operations. But Noom went to them and said, what if I put my 3D printers directly inside your warehouse on your floor?
How do you even convince a logistics facility to do that?
Incentives again. He realized warehouse workers have downtime between packing rushes. He offered to pay the 3PL a premium per unit, And in exchange, during idle time, the 3PL's own employees would just load plastic filament and press print.
He essentially just bought their excess labor capacity and used their floor space.
He turned a shipping center into an on-demand microfactory.
When scaling, that's such a massive takeaway for the listener. Look for ways to leverage existing infrastructure rather than building from scratch.
Constraint breeds extreme operational creativity.
It really does.
Okay, so we've done viral physical products and software, but I want to pivot because while that stuff is fun, some of the biggest money is in totally invisible, boring markets.
Oh, the boring businesses. That is where the deepest moats and consistent cash flows are.
Exactly. Let's talk about Nick from a company called On Point. He runs a B2B backup generator service company.
Like for hospitals and data centers?
Exactly. If the grid blinks, the consequences are catastrophic. Nick's company ensures those massive industrial generators actually fire up. And he's doing $12 million in annual recurring revenue, contracted to hit $25 million soon.
But the mechanic here is what's cool. He didn't start this in a garage. He used a search fund acquisition model.
Right. Explain how that worked.
Well, he quit his management consulting job, raised $6.5 million in outside capital, and basically just went out in 2024 and bought 2 existing mom-and-pop generator companies.
And rolled them up into a larger entity.
Exactly, building through acquisition instead of starting from zero.
Okay, the demand is obviously huge, especially with the boom in AI data centers. But what's the catch? Why isn't every massive private equity firm just rolling up these generator companies?
Because the real bottleneck isn't capital. It's a massive, severe shortage of elite field technicians.
The human beings turning the wrenches.
Right. These generators are incredibly complex. You need to understand heavy diesel engines, high voltage systems, and proprietary software.
And those guys are probably aging out of the workforce.
Exactly, and nobody younger is replacing them. So Nick's competitive advantage isn't that he undercuts giants like Caterpillar on price. His advantage is speed.
He goes head-to-head with them just by being faster.
Yes. The big conglomerates are slow to diagnose problems and issue quotes. Nick wins by being remarkably faster.
And here's where it gets really interesting. To get that speed, he isn't just telling guys to drive faster. He's deploying AI into this gritty, blue-collar world.
Right, the AI system.
Yeah, he took decades of dirty, handwritten service notes and legacy invoices from the companies he bought and ingested all of it to create an AI retrieval system.
A customized RH system, basically.
Right, but how does that actually work without the AI just hallucinating a fake, dangerous repair protocol?
Well, a RIDE system restricts the knowledge base. It only lets the AI search through Nick's private, digitized library of historical data. It can't pull from the open internet. So a tech in the field types in the symptoms and serial number, and the AI acts like a hyperspeed librarian, pulling up the exact repair protocol from a similar job done 7 years ago, and instantly generates a quote.
Turning a 2-week administrative nightmare into a 10-minute real-time quote in the field.
It accelerates the workflow dramatically, but Nick is also using it to build an internal trade school, which is brilliant.
Right, because if elite expertise takes 20 years to build, how do you speed that up?
You force the senior techs to leave AI-transcribed voice notes after every single job.
And the AI structures that chaotic truck audio into a clean technical document.
Exactly. And then he uses those field reports as CIA-style briefing simulations for the junior techs.
So before a young tech steps on site, their phone feeds them everything the company has ever encountered about that specific machine.
He's building the Harvard of the trades to instantly upskill a high school-educated workforce into 6-figure earners. It's amazing.
So let's just step back. What does this all mean? We've covered bypassing gatekeepers by figuring out what buyers actually want, whether it's lower trash bills or a promotion.
Right.
We've talked about hacking supply chains by leveraging partners' resources like Noom did with the 3PL, and using AI not to replace humans, but to upskill blue-collar labor.
Which leaves us with a pretty provocative final thought to mull over.
What's that?
For the last decade, business builders have obsessed over pure software and digital apps.
Oh, yeah.
But as AI makes digital coding and content creation just a cheap, abundant commodity, will the ultimate, highly defensible premium businesses of the next decade simply be using software to orchestrate the messy physical world?
Like dispatching humans to fix generators or smashing physical trash.
Exactly, or manufacturing plastic jaw massagers. The physical world is a moat AI can't easily cross on its own.
That is a fascinating paradigm shift. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. Keep looking for the hidden blueprints in your own industry, and we will catch you next time.